You're listening to The Manning Report with your host, James David Manning. The news behind the headlines.
Late breaking news on yesterday, taking everybody by surprise, number two, was that Don Jr., the son of Tribulation Trump, the alleged president of America, has agreed to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee sometime in June. Now, we all have been aware as of last week that a subpoena had been issued by Chairman Burr that the Don Jr. returned to testify again after having testified some 20 hours going back last year, but now he's requested to return. And he said he would not return, so therefore they subpoenaed him to return to testify, and he fought the subpoena, said he was not coming back. But yesterday, out of the blue in the afternoon, while his father had said that his son would not testify, and it was wrong that they were asking his son to testify. And Lindsey Graham has been running around like a hound dog recently, like a lap dog recently, saying that Don Jr. should not testify, that there's nothing more to add, there's nothing to say. Lindsey Graham, and everybody trying to figure out, they're pulling their hair out. What is Lindsey Graham doing? And lo and behold, everybody, late yesterday afternoon, we all get this breaking news that Don Jr. has agreed, after everything Lindsey Graham has said, after everything his father, the alleged President Donald Tribulation Trump, has said, we get this breaking news that Don Jr. has agreed to testify before the Senate committee. We were shocked. What? How could that be? But it's true. He has agreed to testify before the committee. Now, there are some issues here that are extremely important because this issue, and the reason why Tribulation Trump did not want him to testify, and the reason why he thought he didn't have to. I mean, Don McGahn is potentially going to testify before the committee, Robert Mueller. But Trump can cast a net called executive privilege, and Bill Barr can cast a net declaring that those two can't testify. Subpoena will be issued to Bill Barr or to Don McGahn, and they can both refuse. The matter will go to the court, then it'll go to the Court of Appeals, the district court, and then it'll go to the Supreme Court. That could take a year, 2, 3 years before that matter resolved. Tribulation Trump would have committed suicide before the court can give a final ruling on the fact that whether Don McGahn or Robert Mueller can testify. Because essentially what happens is that the White House and the presidency covers Don McGahn under the executive, if you will, privilege blanket. And same thing pretty much with Robert Mueller. I suspect they will testify at some point in time. But here's the thing that I want to say to you. Don Jr. is not covered by the executive privilege. And that's where we want to get started today. He's not covered by the executive privilege. He's not covered by the power of Washington, D.C. He's not covered by these powers. Why? Because his daddy didn't take him to Washington. His daddy didn't make him a part of the Washington scene. His daddy didn't make him a part of the Washington or his administration. His daddy left him in New York without taking him down to Washington to make him a part of his administration. That happened to another person I'm going to reference in just a moment, who was very much a part of Trump's life before he became president, who actually helped in the presidency, but didn't get a chance to go to Washington. So Don Jr. has agreed to testify, and I'm stating because he knows that his father has thrown him under the bus. You might have noticed there's not been a lot. Don Jr. has not been out in the spotlight recently, not saying an awful lot. No, the reason why Don Jr. and Tribulation Trump are having a father and son, if you will, fight. And that's been going on for some time, behind the scenes. But it's been going on. And it's been going on for the last 2 years, and it's been going on for the same reason that Michael Cohen and Tribulation Trump had a fight. Well, what's that reason? Well, that's why you tuned in today. That's what you tuned in to hear. Tribulation Trump made some critical decisions about people that were closest to him when he won the election, and who was going to go to Washington, and who was going to be a part of his administration. And guess the two people who were closest to him who didn't go. One is Michael Cohen, and the other is Don Jr. And I've stated, everybody that was around Trump that didn't go to Washington is going to jail. Michael Cohen is going to jail. Don Jr. will be in jail pretty soon, but not before he lands a blow on his father, the illegal president, Tribulation Trump. And my friends, that's what I come to talk to you about today. And that's why he has agreed. Michael Cohen has stated that Tribulation Trump knew days in advance about the Trump Tower meeting. But he has lied and said he knew nothing about it. Don Jr. knew, and Don Jr. knew it was Trump that informed Don Jr. that Vesamiskaya had some dirt on Hillary. It was Tribulation Trump that informed Don Jr. Trump about what was the dirt that was supposed to be forthcoming. So he knew before Don Jr. knew. But the issue here is that Don Jr. has stated publicly that it was a nothing burger. Remember that phrase? The meeting was a nothing burger. That nothing happened there, and he didn't tell his father about it. It was a nothing burger. But remember, coming back from the G20 meeting on that Air Force One, that Hope Hicks and the alleged President Tribulation Trump tried to compose a letter for the press stating that Don Jr. didn't know really what was going on, didn't get any information, and that Tribulation Trump, the illegal president, didn't know anything either. So yesterday, the fight between father and son blew up in the New York Times. It blew up. Now, you don't know about it, but that's why you listen to me. With whatever reason would Don Jr. have agreed to come back to testify? And they're going to ask him question. They're going to ask him about Michael Cohen. They're going to ask him. Michael Cohen told the Senate committee that Tribulation Trump knew days in advance of the Trump Tower meeting that took place, I think it was on June 9th, 2016. That Tribulation Trump knew about it. And Don Jr., whose office was right down the hall from his father, and the meeting was right down a couple of doors down. I mean, how can all these people walk into the building? These Russians, Paul Manafort, Jared Kushner, all these people walk in the building right past Trump's office and got the Russians going to meet with Don Jr. and Tribulation Trump don't know about it. I suspect that Trump may have even been in the meeting. This is a bit of a news blog we do looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.